Hello everyone, winter is here and welcome to Urbanscape Gardening. In today's episode, we will look at the plant of the month, quite literally, the December lady or the Euphorbia leucocephala. And the best part about this plant is that it blooms in the colder months of November and December. This is a native of Mexico and surrounding regions. This belongs to the Euphorbaceae family that is known for its irritant sap that can cause blisters when it comes in contact with the skin. Keep this away from curious kids and pets. This is commonly called the snowflake plant for its obvious snow-like blooms. In India alone, this is commonly called the December lady. This grows in a more subtropical climate. Plant characteristics. So this has slender stems that produce such spindle-like leaves. These white structures you see are not true flowers. They are bracts, and the actual flowers are these tiny yellow inconspicuous structures you see within this whorl. The bracts perform the function of attracting night pollinators, and it is very similar to the poinsettia plant. The best part about this plant is that it is fragrant all throughout the day. The fragrance is a mild mix of the night queen and a little bit of musk. The plant is brittle and may not do well in very windy areas. Also, don't get scared. After they are done blooming, the leaves, flowers, everything falls except for the stem, and you may think they are dead, but please give it water when the soil dries and take care of its needs. Sunlight. You can grow this in both full or part sun, but I grow this in part sun conditions and they do well and give me blooms without batting an eyelid. It is difficult to grow this indoors, so this does better in a balcony or a terrace setting. Watering. They do not like wet feet, so ensure the soil dries between watering. Fertilizer. You can just use compost during the summer months after they have finished producing seeds. Soil mix. Use a well-draining mix of 40% compost, 30% garden soil, 30% sand or composted coco peat. Pruning. Desist from pruning this plant and prune only if they grow too big to control. Propagation. This can be propagated using seeds and cuttings. Seeds come from such green seed pods that dry later and give you seeds. And because they produce seeds, they are classified as invasive species in certain parts of the world, so do your research before buying this plant. In my garden, I don't see any such problem thus far. But I prefer growing these from cuttings, and here is a plantling I have grown from cuttings and it's blooming already. So take a cutting, preferably when it has leaves, but even if it does not have leaves, you can still take such cuttings and grow. You can just check if the stem you have taken is green and it will grow. Since their nodes are far apart, the place where you separate the cutting from the mother plant is where the node is, and you have to immerse it in a well-draining soil mix as explained earlier. In approximately 2 or 3 months, you'll see new leaves. This might look like a stick for a very long time, but will eventually grow. Repotting. So I had repotted the shop-bought plant. So for this, I straight away used a big container. The taller the plant, the bigger the planter is my funder. It must have a drainage hole. For the potting mix, I'm using a well-draining mix of compost and composted coco peat. Along with it, I've drizzled some cow dung powder as well. Mix well and add the first few layers. Remove the plant from its container and place it in such a way that it is not deeply immersed in the planter. If that's the case, then add more potting mix and then add the plant and backfill. Water the plant and keep it in a shaded or full sun location if you feel it will do well there and your area does not get harsh sunlight. Pests. Thankfully, I have not seen pests on this plant thus far, and I've been growing this for a year now. So folks, lady or not, this plant is definitely going to make your shady gardens more vibrant and fragrant during the more gloomy winter months. And with this, we've come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Gardening, and I really hope you've enjoyed this particular video. Additionally, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are given below. And always remember, to grow slow is to grow well. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again, a very snowy goodbye.